I am Vicki McKenna, and I am proud and privileged to be before you tonight. I can't even believe that I get to be the one introducing what amounts to the Wisconsin political version of Woodstock. I mean, we got the Who, we got the Stones, you know, we've got Walker, we've got Ryan, we've got Sensenbrenner, we've got Romney, we've got Santorum. I can't even believe this. What a way to kick off election season. You know, guys, I don't have to tell you how hard it's been these last several months since Wisconsin kicked off the most substantial era of reform since Governor Tommy Thompson. We have not seen anything this substantial in Wisconsin since Governor Thompson and welfare reform. And you know what? We may never see anything as substantial in our lifetimes. What Governor Walker did was something crazy. I'm looking at Reince Priebus right here. And Reince used to have this saying. He'd say, you want to know what's going to make the Republican Party great? Is if the people we run for elected office govern as they campaign. And we all nod, right? That's a great line. And then we elected Paul Ryan. Jim Sensenbrenner. Ron Johnson. And Governor Scott Walker. I love this line. Governor, thank you for being my applause line tonight. I appreciate that. It's notable, folks, that we don't often have a lot of stories to tell about our elected representatives governing as they campaign. But Governor Walker went on the campaign trail. He says, we're not going to blow $1 billion on a high-speed train from Milwaukee to Madison that a bunch of rich lobbyists are going to ride. We're not going to raise taxes and drive businesses to other states. We're not going to raise property taxes and fire a bunch of public employees because we've got a $3.6 billion budget deficit. What we're going to do is we're going to reform government. We're going to do something that's a little bit different, and that's actually put plans into action that work. You know, there's an obvious thing to say that you do things that work. But a lot of times government does everything that doesn't work and just tries to spend an awful lot of time and energy, sometimes more time and energy, trying to convince you it's doing something that's working when clearly it's not going to work, and it never would. But in the case of Governor Walker and our great Wisconsin Republicans, we actually have folks who propose ideas that work, and when given a chance to be implemented, when we pass them into law, we show that, in fact, what we say will work does. Act 10. Perfect example. I just want to say that when this was proposed, I predicted the hell that was Matt. I want to say that. I lived there. I knew that was going to get nuts. I did. However, I didn't know how fast it would work. I knew it would work. I didn't know how fast it would work. We had court cases dragging out the implementation of this law. This single piece of reform, the linchpin of reform that was the basis for getting our budget deficit under control. And they took us to court. And they dragged out the implementation. And the Secretary of State finally woke up from his nap at his desk. And he decided to delay implementation even longer than the courts were trying. Delay after delay after delay. When it finally kicked in, I believe it was late July or August of 2011, when we finally started to see Act 10 kick in. Almost overnight, within a month, you had school districts reporting that they went from budget deficits to budget surpluses. That they were able to finally, I'm serious, they were able to finally start to control some of their costs because they were able to bid out their health care product. They were finally able to do kind of crazy things like offer up incentive bonuses for good teachers who performed above and beyond. I think it was just Port Washington, Saukville that was just the latest in the long line of districts that announced a massive savings. They actually were able to save 8% on their health care costs because simply they were able to open up the process for competitive bidding. Monopolies don't work. Competition works, and that's all Act 10 was ever about. Rapidly, folks, though, without even being able to realize the entire impact of this law, we have banked over $660 million in savings. $660 million in savings. I think it was 2007, I was at a taxpayer rally at the state capitol. And Jim Doyle was proposing a $750 million tax increase. Scott Walker just gave you a $660 million tax break. The guy deserves some credit. You know what? Even my taxes didn't go up, and I live in Madison. That's awesome. That's a first. That's a new league record, people. And for this, because these reforms worked, what these reforms really did was expose the left lie. It exposed the lie of the left that they have been able to peddle because they've never had to confront the reality of real reform. They've always been able to count on their competition, their opponents, talking a good game but not doing it. Scott Walker went on the campaign trail and said, I'm going to reform collective bargaining. I'm not going to raise taxes. I'm going to solve the budget deficit. And they probably went, yeah. Jim Doyle said he was going to fire 10,000 public employees too, but we knew he wasn't going to do that. And now they're up in arms. But not so much that the state's banking savings and that we are successful, but that they have been exposed. The Democrats have no answer to Act 10. They have no answer to the Wisconsin budget. They have no answer to the tax incentive packages. They've got no answer. All they've got is bongo drums, red balloons, guys on Segway bikes, men in pink dresses, and chicks who bike lock their heads to Senate gallery railings. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say bike lock their heads? Does anyone need this story? A girl bike locked her head to the Senate gallery railing. Yeah, I don't know how she did it either. But she did it. I've got the picture. That's their answer. Their answer is the shock troops. Their answer is pouring beer on Representative Robin Voss's head. Their answer is calling Scott Walker Hitler. Their answer is harassing his beautiful First Lady and our wonderful First Lady Tonette. The answer is going after kids at Special Olympics events and hijacking all public events for the purposes of screaming recall Walker. Why? Because, guys, not only did the reforms work to save Wisconsin taxpayers money, what the reforms also did was release Wisconsin from the control, the political control, the powerful political control of the public employees unions. We were financing the election of Democrats and liberals. We were. Because we were essentially facilitating the public employees unions extract dues from people's paychecks and funnel them into political action committees. That's why they're angry and that's why they're fighting. Because the gravy train slowed to a halt. Their cash cow got tired of kicking out milk. That is why Wisconsin is ground zero, because as we say, as goes Wisconsin, so goes the rest of the country. If every other state does what Wisconsin does, then that cash cow keels over nationwide. And you know what? That makes elections a whole hell of a lot more competitive between Republicans and Democrats, between blue states and red states, between blue cities and red suburbs. And that's what this is all about, and that's why we're seeing the fight that we are seeing here in the state of Wisconsin. I would like to thank everybody who I didn't know 17 months ago if everybody was going to be willing to be fighting this far down the line. But I would like to thank everybody. You didn't get tired. You didn't get frustrated. You didn't give up. You didn't say, I'm sick of it. What everybody did in the old silent majority was stand up and start talking and start yelling and stop being silent. And we are now amassing, look at this, we are amassing an army of Republicans that previously might have shown up at the polling place on Election Day if they remembered. And now we've got people knocking on doors, running rallies, walking for Walker in Lake Mills. Do you guys know these walkers in Lake Mills? We've got folks who are holding random Facebook rallies. We've got people who are organizing marches in their neighborhoods. And I will tell you what, if you are not part of this activist contingent that has now become this amazing powerhouse of the Republican Party in Wisconsin, we have bumper stickers on the tables here, guys. If you don't have a bumper sticker on your car yet, take that bumper sticker and put it on your car. If you do have a bumper sticker on your car, give it to somebody else. You know what? No longer do we have to hide behind the secret knock and the secret handshake and be embarrassed about being Republicans in the state of Wisconsin. Thank you very much.